Hey y'all, this is your boy Chris B, and today's topic is about how I feel about Michael Jordan, and do I feel like he's the king of Chicago when it comes to sports and the whole nine, or who's really the king of Chicago when it comes to sports. So here we go. Now, I didn't grow up in the 90s. But I remember watching Michael Jordan highlights about how good of a great basketball player he is from the 80s, with him getting drafted in 84, him winning a national championship with North Carolina, beating, I believe, Georgetown, when Patrick Ewing's team, with him getting drafted to the Chicago Bulls in 1984. Him getting his ass whooped every playoff, whether it was the Celtics, whether it was the Bad Boys Pistons, Isiah, Bill Laimbeer, John Sally and them boys, Dennis Rodman later on, him getting his ass whooped by Detroit Pistons, him losing to Larry Bird, scoring 60 and still losing against the Boston Celtics in one of those games. Michael Jordan, man, yeah. Oh yeah, I want to throw that out just to rub it in Jordan's face. The Pistons are 3-1 against when it comes to like the winning record. The Pistons are 3-1 against Jordan. They beat them in 88. They beat the Bulls in 88. They beat them in 89. And they beat them in 1990. And the Bulls only beat them in 1991. So, I just want to throw that in. I know people gonna disagree with me. I know people gonna not be cool with this video. Me personally, I don't really care about what y'all think. But for those to the disagreeers, to the people that hates this video, just know I forgive y'all. And I got love for y'all. But anyways, Michael Jordan is one of the greatest basketball of all times. Is he overrated? That's debatable. But his character and him being a great person, not so much. His reputation is bad. I can understand that people that look like him killed his dad over some materialistic things. There's like stuff where the mafia got him killed. Michael Jordan's responsible for his dad, is the reason why he got killed due to his gambling problems. But my condolences goes to Michael Jordan's dad and stuff, even though that's been 1993. That's like years ago now. But that's condolences, but it doesn't give you a right as a person to say ish and be such an asshole to young kids, teenagers, and most of all, people that look up to you. And it is not okay. Allegedly, he says something like that. I still believe he would say some things, say some stuff like that. Say some ignorant BS like that. It is not okay to say, I only make Jordans for white suburban kids. When you know black people actually love you to death, actually worship you. I don't worship you. The only person I worship, idolize, is the Most High, which is God. You got people out here that buying your shoes, and you go around there making articles and a statement allegedly saying stuff like, only make Jordans to white suburban kids. As soon as I heard that and I saw that article, I don't wear Jordans no more. I don't want to support a man that bring down on his race that looks just like him. That every time when a kid or somebody asks for an autograph, he always push him away. He always look the other way. Thinking that he's better than somebody, acting like a dick to people when you know kids look up to you. Now, do I think he's the king of Chicago? No. He ain't even from Chicago. I mean, you can, just because you can be from Chicago and you can still rep it and be from that spot. But at the end of the day, he's not the king of Chicago sports. A person that is actually real from there, from that city, I claim is the king of Chicago sports, even though he played the majority of his career in the Detroit Pistons, is Isiah Thomas. Isiah Thomas is the real Chicago, king of Chicago when it comes to sports. And he got drafted to the Detroit Pistons. Not Mark, because he played with Mark A, because he played with the Detroit Pistons. No, he played with the Dallas Mavericks first. Then he went to the Detroit Pistons and won him a chip with them bad boy Pistons. So no, it's Isiah Thomas. Isiah Thomas. It would have been Derrick Rose had he got injured and he didn't get traded to the Knicks. His injury is what derailed his career, and if he would have stayed in Chicago for the majority of his career, and if he would have won the ring, I would have said Derrick Rose is the king of Chicago of sports. But since Isiah Thomas is from the west side of Chicago, you can't deny how talented, how good of a point guard, how he led his team, how physical he was as a point guard, how he led his team to the finals, back-to-back titles, with head coach Chuck Daly running things and stuff in '88, in the '80s, throughout the whole '80s, from '88 to them winning the championship back-to-back to '89 and '90. They would have won the championship hadn't Isiah Thomas got injured his ankle in '88. So '89, '90, they wound up winning a title back-to-back and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, yes, six rings is better than 2 rings, but let's not get it twisted. Would you rather have the wicked, sinful 6 rings? Or would you rather have a team that beat you 3 times, 1 in the semifinals and 2 in the Eastern Conference Finals? Or the other one with the 6 rings? If you ask me, honestly, I think beating somebody 3 times and you only beat me 1 outweighs them 6 rings. If we being clearly honest. So honestly, I don't care if you won 6 rings. If you three-peat. I could brag to the world that I beat you 3 times and you only beat me 1. So it doesn't matter. Them 6 rings don't mean nothing to you. So, but yeah, Michael Jordan is the greatest of all times, but he ain't no king of Chicago sports, and he's not a great player. He's not a great person. I never met the man and stuff like that. I'm going through what I heard through reputation and stuff like that. I know I can't go through the horse's mind, but I'm speaking with my own mind. I don't think he's a great person. and leaving your black sister, your black princess, Juanita, your wife and stuff, when she was there for you, was never a gold digger and stuff, and you drop kicked her and all that, cheated on her and stuff like that, was unfaithful to her, and you went and got yourself a interracial second wife and all that, and basically you don't even like acknowledge your like older kids that you had kids with Juanita. I just don't respect that. As a grown man, I don't respect that. Yeah, they grown and all that, but and on top of that, while playing those days in Chicago and all that, what has Michael Jordan ever done for the city of Chicago other than the Jordans and all that? Niggas killing themselves over Jordans and stuff. What has Michael Jordan ever done for the city? He never done a damn thing. I'm pretty sure Isiah Thomas does more in his own city of the West Side of Chicago and Chicago as a whole more than Jordan does. I believe that Zeke does more for the community than Jordan does, and I'ma stand on that. And if somebody want to come for me, it is what it is. I stand on business like Cat Williams, you know. But at the end of the day, y'all can't fault me for what I believe, my opinions, and you know what? It's not even an opinion. It's a fact. It's a true fact. I believe that Isiah Thomas does more than Jordan does in Chicago. Just because he got the jersey Chicago Bulls on and stuff, don't mean he does jack ish for the city of Chicago. Don't mean jack shit that he represents Chicago and he will fight for Chicago and he will fight hard and he will represent Chicago like Isiah does. Nah. He's the greatest of all times. He's the greatest basketball player that ever lived, but he's not the king of Chicago sports. And I'm gonna leave this right here, and I'm gonna end this video, and I'm gonna say, stop shitting on Isiah Thomas. Get his respect, get his credit. One love, hats off to the bad boy Pistons. Dennis Rodman and them. And at the end of the day, we all know that Jordan was jealous of the bad boy Pistons because he would have never got John Sally and Dennis Rodman and recruit them boys to the Bulls and had them win some rings with the Bulls. He got the Detroit at the end, and also on top of that, the real Chicago ingredients. When Isiah brought that ish to the Pistons, that's the real Chicago team. Not the Chicago Bulls where it was none but Southern players like Scottie Pippen, even though Scottie Pippen is still my favorite player. Scottie ain't from Chicago. He from Arkansas. Jordan ain't from Chicago. He from North Carolina. Dennis Rodman's my dude, though. I'ma stand on business for Dennis Rodman. He a Texas legend. He a Texas boy. Even though he was born in Jersey, but he was raised in Texas. Just like I was raised in Texas. So, he out this equation. So, I'm Xing out Dennis Rodman. So, at the end of the freaking day, I don't got no hate, no animosity towards Jordan. I'm just speaking real-ish. Maybe Jordan could be a coward and stuff like that, but I'm not gonna put him down like that. All I gotta say is he's a great basketball player, but when it comes to character and him as a person, he ain't ish. Isiah Thomas is the real deal, the real Chicago legend. Even though he played in Detroit, But he brought that Chicago ingredients ish. That Chicago, what it meant, what the real Chicago, how Chicago people know how, when he brought that Chicago toughness to Detroit, that physicality ish in Detroit. So he's the real Chicago. He's the real deal. Ain't nobody messing with Isiah Thomas, the greatest point guard there is to this day. But people don't put him on their top. People don't even give his props, his credit. So I'm riding with the bad boy Pistons, and I'm riding with Isiah Thomas. So peace, y'all.